Race car spelled backwards is still race car. This is the Race Car Spelled Backwards podcast. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Brad, and with me, as always, live in the studio again. 3 weeks we've been virtual, but we are back together in person. Jamie, we're glad to have you back.
Oh, I'm glad to be back, man. Glad to be back.
He looks good, everybody. He looks healthy. I don't think he's going to die now. I think we might keep him through season 2.
We'll find out tomorrow when I go to the wound specialist.
Oh, you're not done with all them doctors?
No, you know they all want a piece of the pie.
What kind of pie? That cash flow pie?
I like key lime pie. It's really good.
Key lime's my favorite, but
It's my favorite too.
So my thing with pies, I don't like the crust. I don't like pie crust. Like, I don't mind the inside crust, but the edge, you know, like.
No, I don't like the edge.
I hate that. I break that off and throw it away.
I like pizza crust. I don't like pie crust.
My grandmother used to make me chocolate cakes, and I would eat the icing and throw the cake away.
Did that piss her off?
No, she knew I was going to do it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was my birthday. My birthday cake was always icing, basically. But for me, the icing tasted better coming off the cake than it did out of a bowl.
Oh, you know what? We haven't mentioned this. Today is Brad's 23rd birthday, and it's our 24th episode. What a coincidence.
Episode 24, and not 23.
Oh.
38.
He wishes he was still 23.
No.
No?
No, I'm glad to have survived that one.
I don't remember 23 at all.
What I remember is I'm glad I survived, and I'm still alive at 38. So
I think at 23 was my third junior year in college.
Your third.
Not my third year in college.
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
Year.
They're called doctors.
Oh, well, they didn't give me a doctorate. They said, you're a bachelor.
I'll tell you who's not a bachelor anymore. That's Tyler Reddick. God, I screwed it up already.
Wow.
Denny Hamlin announces last week that Tyler Reddick is going to drive for 2311 starting in 2024. Denny didn't say what number or what car he will be driving, just that he will be driving a car.
You know, I read that on Reddit before the last episode last week, and that's why I thought, because I'm on painkillers, I thought all 4 cars I chose were Toyotas.
Because Reddick was listed as a Toyota.
Well, that he was going to go to a Toyota team. It didn't say, but I assume 2311.
I think it's huge, but I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, man, I'm shocked. I can't believe this. Door bumper clear. Brett, TJ, and Freddie were talking about it 2-3 weeks ago. Like, he's the hottest guy in the garage right now. He's the biggest ticket out there. Because he was saying that it was stupid that RCR only picked up an option.
Well, if you think about it, he's a nice guy. He has skills.
He's young.
Yep.
I mean,
he's not too young. He's what, 26? It means he's already matured out on the track. His best years are ahead of him.
Oh, no doubt.
Because I think you're at your prime, probably what, 29, 30 years old to about 40. As other drivers have shown us after you hit 40 now, it's not like the 70s and 80s and 90s where you could drive until your 50s. 40's about it.
Yeah, I think mid-40s probably. Is it too late for a driver?
Like, well, look at Truex and Harvick.
Well, okay, so what about Josh Berry? I think Josh is a year younger. So Josh, I think, is 37, 36, 37
So
years
to be
old.
honest, he's got 5 good years left on him. He's done. Put a fork in him.
So you think Josh could be a Cup driver?
I think so. I think he could be a good Cup driver.
I think he could, but it's going to be short-lived. I don't think he has enough time to get in the car, get used to the car. When's the last time a driver got in the car year 1 and was successful? I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head. It's like that.
Even Ty Gibbs with his limited Cup runs, it sucked.
Ty Gibbs?
Uh-huh.
What do you mean?
His limited Cup runs.
He's running the Cups?
No. That's why he sucks.
So you're killing me on these painkillers. Or whatever it is.
If he didn't suck, he'd be in Cup.
Well.
But didn't he win?
Ty Gibbs?
Yeah.
No.
Last week.
Yeah, but not this week.
I know.
Man, you're all over the place.
Thank you, Dr. Woods.
All right, speaking of team changes, Petty GMS and Ty Dillon come out and announced that they would be parting ways at the end of 2022.
Well, the way he wrecks cars, wouldn't you part ways with him too?
I don't get it, man. I mean, we're just gonna talk about Ty.
Even his grandfather won't hire him. I mean, come on.
So
Isn't his dad head of competition?
Yeah, and I have a theory here, not on this deal, but with the RCR thing. I think Austin Dillon is no more better at bringing sponsorship to the table than Ty Gibbs. Austin Dillon, however, drives the iconic number 3. You're selling sponsorships on the number 3, not Austin Dillon. I mean,
and I think that's a problem.
But Ty Dillon, if he could bring sponsorship, he could easily be in the number 8. But I don't think he can bring the sponsorship that Hemrick and Reddick have brought.
Well, obviously, Petty has decided, or GMS Petty, whatever you want to call it, has decided that the risk of having to replace some sponsors is better than keeping them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason this all happened, and I think eventually we'll hear the rumors eventually. But currently the rumor has Noah Gregson going to the 42 next season. I don't think that's a bad move. I think Noah's...
Do you think Noah can drive better than his car and improve the car? Because...
Well, I mean, if you're going to do that, you got to go try to get Kurt.
When was the last time Petty was...
Noah's going to be... I don't think a rookie is going to improve a car.
What was the last race that they won?
Who?
GMS Petty. How long ago? It's been a while.
I'm sure it was in the 43 with Eric.
Yeah.
So that's
on a super speedway, probably.
Probably. Daytona, if I'm not mistaken.
Did he win Daytona? Was it a summer race?
It was either...
The Pepsi?
I don't think it was Jones, was it? It was either Jones or Amarillo. One of those two won a super speedway. I remember listening to one on the way home. But I don't know. With Ty leaving, he could very easily end up in that 8 when Tyler Reddick leaves in a year.
What about if they bumped him up to the executive suite?
That's what I think needs to happen. I mean, Richard Childress is, 76 years old?
Mm-hmm. He's no youngster.
I think Austin Dillon already has his little management gig going on with the professional bull riding stuff, so...
He's got that nice little reality show no one watches.
Yeah, that no one watches.
I watched for 10 minutes.
I didn't even make it past the opening clip. Like, once the intro started, I turned it off. I thought it was horrible, but that's just me. So at Atlanta Motor Speedway last weekend, Christopher Bell loses a wheel on pit road. NASCAR does not issue a penalty. Because it was on pit road, apparently it doesn't qualify for a penalty. I've never heard this before. So this week, Austin Cindric loses a wheel on pit road. Will he get a penalty or will he not get a penalty? I mean, based on Christopher Bell's non-penalty last week, I would assume Austin Cindric would not get a penalty for losing a wheel on pit road.
So is NASCAR saying it's safe to lose a wheel on pit road but not on the track?
That's exactly what they're saying. I think what NASCAR's saying, without saying it, they're saying that the penalty rule's stupid. They're admitting their own rule's stupid.
Oh, God dang NASCAR.
But the consistency and inconsistencies of NASCAR are mind-boggling. Like, NASCAR Chasm posted a thing on Twitter. It said, if you win New Hampshire, you get a lobster. But that's inconsistent because when you win Phoenix, you should get a rattlesnake. And when you win Homestead, you should get a 12-foot aggressive alligator.
Do they get to eat that lobster? Do they cook it up for them?
I doubt they put it in a... Denny might have one in a tank at his house.
Or can you take it to a toxicologist or whatever they call those people that stuff animals? No, toxicologist is what I saw.
Taxidermist.
Taxidermist, that's it.
I guess you probably could, but then you'd have to kill it. Kill it and grill it.
Man.
I'd eat it. That's a big old
Those claws look good, man. I don't know.
They're really good.
Give me a couple sticks of butter.
You see William Byron won the 43rd Annual Slinger Nationals.
I was going to stay away from that because I'm not sure what slinger means.
That's the Speedway. Slinger Super Speed. That's the name of the track.
Oh, I get it.
Not swinger, slinger.
No, I'm saying slinger.
Yeah.
I went to this zoo once with my kids when they were little, and there was a monkey they called Slinger. And we
slinging
realized, we realized why he was called Slinger when some people next to us got smacked with some poo.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah. And one of the workers at the zoo said, "That's why it's called Slinger." No, Slinger, not Slinger.
Slinger Super Speedway in Wisconsin, the Super Late Model Race, the 43rd annual running of the Slinger Nationals at said speedway, was won by William Byron.
You know, the word annual, you ever been confused? Like,
no, never.
I went to a festival and it was the first annual. How can it be the first annual?
Is that why you left?
The second one's the annual, right? Yeah, that is why I left. I said, well, I'm coming back next year when it really is an annual.
I'm not into all that annual stuff. I'm getting out of here.
Is that why they call your yearbook in school an annual? Because it's annual?
Annually. Yearly.
Annually? Is that how you get monkeypox?
Did you watch the SRX race?
I did.
I did.
I watched it live so I wouldn't make a mistake.
You watched the right year?
Yeah.
You got your kids, Jamie, somebody to check, like, Jody, can you make sure I'm on the right year, please?
Yeah. Bring me my painkiller.
Ken Schrader won Heat 1. Ryan Newman and Paul Tracy get into it. That was awesome, actually.
No, that was awesome.
Watching Newman, I would actually like to see Newman and Tracy in a boxing ring together.
Do you feel like Tony Stewart had to tell the drivers, hey, you know, no, people kind of critical last week.
The last 2 weeks.
Have at it.
Well, maybe they got all the cars fixed finally, and they're like, all right, look, we're not holding these things together like the Indy car with duct tape and super glue.
Well, they only have one more race, right?
2 more.
2 more?
Tony, I saw some.
Dang, I suck at English.
I saw a stat that said Tony Stewart has won every dirt track SRX race.
So he's just going to be champion again?
Oh, I'm sure he'll be. He's won 2 this season, so at some point they're going to call for him to retire.
Speaking of his wife, she won the Top Fuel in Denver, the drag race.
That's where Jeff
316 miles per hour, dude.
Did you hear the great Jeff Gluck went there? They were so happy to have him there. They were just, the president of the Speedway, came down, or NHRA went and talked to him. He was just blown away by Jeff Gluck being in his presence.
Tony's wife is faster than him by like 150 miles per hour.
She's pretty good.
I didn't know this about her.
That she raced?
I thought she was just another free face.
That's how she got in there with him. Or that's how he owns her team.
They must have gone out on the street and had a drag race and she just blew him away. He's like, I love that girl.
We married
But
her.
he's from Indiana. He didn't say it that way. I think that's what happened. He got out and said, hey there, baby.
Marry me.
Will you marry me?
You're fast.
You're the fastest woman I ever seen.
That was the best race since South Boston for sure. So obviously something was said. Tony Stewart won the main event. Tony Stewart won Heat 2.
Ken Schrader, man, he's 67 years old. He put up a good fight.
Finished third.
Yeah.
Andretti finished second again. Andretti finishes second a lot. Like he's probably the most consistent.
Do you think Tony tells him before the race?
Where to finish?
Yeah, you're gonna finish second.
It's probably.
And
it would not shock me if this all is not somewhat scripted in a sense.
He doesn't know that Tony's joking, so when he gets close to passing him, he goes,
stops.
"Oh,
supposed to finish second.
Let's drag the brake for a second."
Boss man told me to finish second. Justin Allgaier goes on to win at New Hampshire, pretty much dominating the whole race, in my opinion. Finished third, or that was his third win of the season, and that's Junior Motorsports' 7th win of the season.
Boy, they're dominant, man. They really are.
I hope they're as dominant next year, too. As my notes say.
Well,
whatever year it is,
if Noah Gretzin goes to GMS Petty, do you think he'll still drive Xfinity for JR Motorsports?
I've always been a fan of the number 7, so when Reagan,
it is a lucky number.
Well, when Reagan drove it, I was a fan. Junior, or then when Allgaier took over, I became an Allgaier fan. But I like Noah. I like Josh Berry. I don't know enough about Sam Mayer to have an opinion.
He got his ass handed to him by Ty Gibbs.
Oh, no doubt.
And Ty Gibbs was half his size, like half his height and like a third of his weight.
I really think if he's going to stay at Junior Motorsports, he needs
to kick Ty's ass.
He needs to be on a podcast.
Oh. Yeah.
Just get him on door bumper. Maybe put him on door bumper.
Put him on race car spell backwards.
Yeah. On Dirty Mo Media.
We'll take him as a guest.
We'll take him every week. Just put us on the Dirty Mo Media platform.
I'll freaking drive to the studio once a week just to record it.
We're going to Airbnb.
Motorsports.
We're going to Airbnb.
Yeah, get a tent and pitch into the front yard.
We can stay in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Door bumper clears in a gated community.
Is it?
They said they have a guard out front or something. I don't know.
But according to the download, his stepmother's the one in the guard shack, isn't it?
That was a
long time ago. It's not current.
Yeah, that was after Earnhardt died.
Oh, I thought Teresa was the security guard now.
Well, I think she might be.
Oh, okay.
Christopher Bell saves enough gas to win his first race of the year, making him the 14th different driver to win in 2022. Honestly, I think Christopher Bell might have just won the first real fuel strategy race of the next-gen car.
Really? Because I wasn't thinking fuel at all when I was watching it.
I wasn't either, but they pitted.
I know they said he had enough to finish.
Well, they hoped he did. It was really like Chase. It was down to him or Chase. Could they finish? I don't really know how close it was, but the TV broadcast made it feel like it was close. Like, I was worried, is he going to run out of gas? Even though I could have fast-forwarded through the end, I watched the last 5 laps stressing out, like, does he actually make it? So, I don't know. I think this has been more of a fuel strategy race than any of the other ones, I guess.
Well, as we called it last week, Toyotas are great on flat tracks.
Yeah, even Tyler Reddick. Not in a Toyota.
I told you. Remember I said they could put the Chevy emblem on the Toyota? That's kind of what he's doing now.
He finished 21st, a lap down. If he'd have been in a Toyota, he would have finished
I don't think
10.
he's going to finish jack squat the rest of the year.
Or next year.
The team meetings, he's out in the guard shack letting cars in.
He's out there with Teresa. All right, so was New Hampshire a good race? As of the time of these notes, there was 3,000 votes on the Jeff Gluck poll, which is new now. If you haven't voted by the time you listen to this show, you're SOL. But
what does that mean?
The new Jeff Gluck poll is on Google. Have you not? You haven't voted, have you?
I voted.
So you saw it's on the new Google Docs to prevent cheating. He had a 20% vote swing at the end of voting last week.
Because people freaked out and just started voting over and over again.
Probably promoters or something like that. They want the race to look better. So this is supposedly to prevent that from happening.
So last week was Atlanta.
Well,
when I at SMI got all their people in the ticket office to start calling in and voting.
So when I did this, it was as of 3,000 votes. I'm pulling it up now to see where we're at now.
He made it harder to vote. There's fewer votes.
Yeah. 83% had said yes, and 17 said no as of the time. But as of right now, it's way less, man. Like, we've only had 5,300 votes at almost 3:30 p.m. It's still 83 and 17%. So it makes me wonder how many of those old votes used to be bots. How many were fake? It didn't take no more time or less time to vote on the Google
For $50, we could probably, email a call center in Bangalore, whatever they call it, India, and have them flood it.
All right. Well, I voted yes on this week's Jeff Clark poll. On our poll of 1 to 10, I gave it a 6.
I gave it an 8. I really enjoyed the race.
I really did too. I thought it was a great race. I thought 6 was a generous vote. You gave me crap for giving Atlanta a 10. So I was thinking, okay,
Well, I'm usually
I overvoted there, so I'm going to be conservative this week, and I gave it a 6. You give me crap for giving it a 6. I can't win for losing with you, guy.
Damn it, man.
Damn it, Bobby.
So if it was a 5, would you voted yes or no?
I'd always say a 5 is a yes. 5 is a middle vote. 5 is,
I go 6 to 10 for yes. But as you know, I'm very liberal in my ranking.
Well, I mean, a 5 to me is,
Richmond,
it's not great, but it's not good.
Phoenix.
And Jeff doesn't offer maybe.
You think we're going to fix?
It's a low yes.
You think we're going to fix the other flat tracks?
I think they're already fixing it somewhat. I think Martinsville, I'm believing that weather played a big factor in Martinsville just because Tyler Reddick said it did. Tyler Reddick went and tested there recently and said it raced completely different now. So I think Martinsville would have been more like New Hampshire.
Yeah, but he tested it with a big wheel. We're talking cars here.
Well, that's true. Hey, did you see? So let's start talking about this New Hampshire race. Well, heck, Josh Berry spins in the Xfinity race. Blocks
I was
the
very
whole track.
disappointed about that spin.
Did you see Jeb hit him?
Yeah.
And lifted Ryan Sieg way in the air.
I thought he was going to go end over end.
I did too. Steve Letart's like, he lifted that car like 2 or 3 feet, and Jeff Burton's like, I think it was more than that, Steve.
Like 12 feet.
It almost flipped over completely.
Just a little harder. It would have been upside down on top of the other car.
I still thought the Cup race was better than the Xfinity race.
Yeah, I think so, which really hasn't been the case much this year.
No. Atlanta was, and New Hampshire it was.
Yeah.
So I think New Hampshire was successful with the new car. It was our first decent flat racetrack.
I didn't watch the Xfinity post-race. Do they give him a littler, a smaller crab? No, I mean lobster.
I get crabs.
You get crabs. That's from the bad hotel that we reviewed.
Yeah.
What was it called? The Hung King Motel?
With the
King?
with the ghost.
With the ghost.
Caught crabs from the ghost.
There's probably a real technical name for that one.
Dude, Kyle Busch spins out 2 times yesterday. Really looking like he's having a shit show of a kind of day. And still finishes 12th. Like, that's how fast he was. He obviously doesn't have a grip on the car, but he's got speed. Toyota wins the race.
Think he's thinking about that contract while he's going in circles?
That's what I was thinking. Like, so I guess to somebody on Twitter, Kyle Busch made the comment that it would be nice to get this contract negotiation done sooner than later, but it doesn't really matter how soon or how late it happens. Until there's an announcement someone else is driving the 18, Kyle feels like he still has a ride. And when asked if he had talked to other teams, Kyle said the short answer is yes. Anything is possible. There are all kinds of things that can play out. It's just a matter of what plays out.
Did he say he's talked to other championship level teams?
Dude, honestly, I don't think...
insinuating?
I think he actually has. I think he has probably talked to Stuart Haas. I think he's talked to Trackhouse. I think he's talked to... Who else?
I don't... Keselowski could hang it up.
That's not a top team, though.
No, but...
He's not going to drop back in performance. I mean...
So here's a question for you.
And he doesn't... He's not the kind... He's not Kurt Busch. He's Kyle Busch.
Do you think he's sticking Joe Gibbs for full mark on his salary, but will take a discount if he has to leave and go somewhere else? Say, skin off $5 million, make it a $15 million contract. Think he's willing to do that?
Probably.
But his ego won't let him take a reduction at Joe Gibbs Racing.
I think he is taking a reduction.
You think?
I think he's trying to do a 2-year deal. He'll take a little less, not a lot less, but a little less, just to finish his career out. I think his career is coming to an end. Joe Gibbs.
Well, he's won 222 races.
Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin.
They're aging. They're all aging.
Kyle, they're leaving. You have Ty Gibbs as the future. Christopher Bell.
But that's in one car. We got 3 others to fill.
Okay, Chris ain't going nowhere.
Chris is getting cut, dude.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Gibbs will cut your ass in a heartbeat.
He ain't paying him enough.
He's like a mugger in Washington, D.C. with a stiletto.
Christopher Bell's good.
He'll cut your ass and throw you to another team.
But he'll pray for you.
He will. So will Ty. But
Yep.
he'll stab you again later.
Yep. After he whoops you, he'll pray for you.
You think maybe I ought to introduce them to Quaker Jesus?
Quaker.
It's the same guy.
The Oats guy?
Yeah, same guy, just different uniform.
What about Brad and Austin?
That was awesome.
What happened?
We don't know.
Austin wouldn't say anything. Brad didn't say anything.
Brad said, I'll talk to him personally. And then they went to Austin and said, Brad says he'll talk to you personally. He goes, I don't talk to him.
You think Austin just overcorrected and got into him on accident and Brad just
like his brother?
retaliated?
Is there sim rig for practicing
Maybe.
messed up at
Maybe
RCR?
maybe their sim rig's the old car, not the new car. But they helped develop
Maybe
the
they're
car.
using the same sim car that they use to practice pit stops at JGR.
Austin has no excuse to complain whatsoever. I mean,
Didn't
Richard
Kozlowski
Schroeder's
wreck
designed this
him?
car.
Didn't Kozlowski wreck him at Michigan last year? Think that's still carrying over?
Maybe. I doubt it, but these guys hold on to car. I mean, heck, yesterday Denny Hamlin gets into Ross Chastain during the race. I think Ross drove worse yesterday because I think he was worried about getting into anybody. I think all the talk is getting to Ross. It's causing Ross to kind of like the
Hold up a little.
Yeah, kind of like the SRX guys. They're holding back. What they didn't really hold back this week, but usually they're holding back.
Yeah, but he was off the chains in Atlanta.
Exactly.
He was.
So he goes to New Hampshire and takes a week off, chills out a little bit.
Maybe he's going to chill out, try to make some friendships so he gets a championship.
Next week we go to Pocono. Maybe he wrecks 4 people.
Is a poke a no? How you get monkeypox?
I think it's the Poca, yeah.
Oh, the poke, yeah. Okay.
The Pocono is how you prevent it.
Oh.
Only you can prevent monkeypox.
We're all going to die of a disease in the next year or two. It's the end of time.
I really thought Brad must have got into Austin earlier, but even like the broadcast team was looking for something and couldn't find anything.
Maybe he needed some camera time for his sponsor.
Maybe.
Here's what I'm thinking. He's driving a toilet car. Kohler makes toilets, dude.
Okay.
And Austin's a big turd. He said, let's put him in my car and flush him.
So he started spinning?
Yeah, let's flush this turd.
He started flushing?
I got me a fancy toilet here. I'm going to drive right into that 3 car and flush that dude.
Brad just reacted with pure emotion. He's like, he hit me. And Brad had already hit. I mean, TJ's like, just drive past him. What are you doing? Keep going.
I know, he lost his shit.
Yeah. Almost destroyed his car. I mean, he still finished 7th.
But he didn't give a crap. He was like, this little turd.
Those restarts were crazy yesterday. He had 3 and 4 wide. I mean, we haven't seen that on a flat track all year. You have Martinsville, which I think.
But you know, that's why I gave it an 8 instead of a 9. I think if there were fewer cautions, it would have been a little better. Not a lot fewer, just 2 or 3 less.
I think a lot of the credit goes to the production team. I know we really do pump up NBC on here.
Well, they're way better coverage.
In our opinions, it's night and day. It's not even comparable.
We get a post race, dude. Not just the winner doing a burnout going, I'd like to thank my sponsors. The car running really well thanks to my crew. And hold on, sideways Coke drink.
Well, if it would have been Fox, they would have showed Martin Truex lead every lap in stage 1 and stage 2. They would have showed every lap he led. With NBC, when he got strung out, they went back in the pack and showed racing. We always had racing on TV. It was never follow the leader, single file nothingness. It was always racing.
Back in the pack, 14's fighting 15.
Yeah, we would talk about it, though. I mean, they would spend 10 minutes talking about 15th. You know, it was nice. We saw racing all day.
So I'm just going to call the production crew out and say, look, Fox, your production crew sucks. I think your on-camera talents, they have the abilities to do what is done at NBC, but not with the people behind the cameras. Where NBC, they're race fans.
So it's the supporting cast screwing it up, basically.
Yeah.
The broadcasters do great.
It's the director, producer.
So it kind of goes to what we're going to talk about next with Joe Gibbs. It's not necessarily the drivers, it's the crew and the cars.
It's because they're using the same sim to practice pitting that Austin Dillon does to practice turning left.
That the Dillon brothers can't seem to not go right.
For some reason on that sim, it says, all right, you're in the straightaway, turn right.
Like Corey LaJoie, downshifts, car immediately hooks right.
What happened to Corey? I had such high hopes for him after last week.
I don't know. I feel bad for Corey when things like that happen, but I just want to see Corey get a break with a real team. Even if it's in Xfinity. Like, go drive for Junior Motorsports.
Think he would drop the Cup to go to Xfinity?
Would you rather stay in Cup at Spire and only have a chance to win 5 races a year, 6 races a year, or drop down to Xfinity and have a chance to win every single weekend?
I'd rather be competitive.
You win a championship in Xfinity, it might be a little easier to get to a bigger ride. I think Corey's biggest problem is the same thing we discussed with Josh Berry. He's aging out.
He'd be a great candidate.
Corey's mid-20s, but like
Wood Brothers. I mean,
here's what I'm saying.
Harrison ain't doing much.
Corey's mid-20s. You drop down to Xfinity.
So's Harrison, 20
win
to
a bunch
36.
of races. You're back in the 30s by the time he gets back in Cup. He would need to or he could be the complete opposite. It could be like John Hunter Nemechek. You drop down to KBM and you only win 2 or 3 races a year, where you should be winning 7 to 8 races a year. See, I think John Hunter hurt his stock by dropping down to truck and not outperforming everybody else.
Yeah.
So
it's a risk.
Let's say Corey does drop down to Junior Motorsports. Let's say he has a Daniel Hemrick type of year where he wrecks every time he gets in the car.
Or you could end up like the Benedetto.
Is he still racing?
Yeah, he finishes in the 20s. Occasionally he breaks top 15.
You know who did break the top 15? Kevin Harvick finished 5th.
Well, Kevin needs to hang it up.
You see him getting to Austin Dillon on pit road? I think it was. I don't think it's. He just didn't see it in time.
Was that a Polish pit stop for Austin Dillon since he went in backwards?
Honestly, his crew looked like dumbfounded there. They're like, what do we do? It's like, hit the dang car backwards, guys. It's okay.
They're saying Watkins Glen.
It took, I mean, obviously at that point, you're not even worried about pit road positions. Just change the tires and let's get out of here. But I think Kevin just didn't see him in time. I think Kevin's getting old, man.
Well, you know,
his reaction time.
The little switches that they did with Toyota teams for the pit crews seemed to work this week.
Yeah, because Christopher Bell. But they asked Christopher Bell's crew chief, Adam Stevens, something about what did he say to the crew, and he said nothing. The guys know what happened last week, and they know how to fix it. That's that. And I think because he didn't chew their butt, they performed.
Of course, Hamlin's pit crew was just as crappy as usual.
Yeah, but Hamlin was just as crappy. I mean, he screwed up. He stopped too far in the box, screwed the whole pit stop up one time, lost 9 positions. So I think that's on both Denny and on him.
Here's what my problem is. Conflicts of interest. Austin Dillon, I don't know when they recorded their show, but do you think it was during the race season?
No, it was last season. Or maybe beginning.
I didn't watch it long enough. I mean, it was horrible. It was painful to watch.
Well, I mean, so was that other show that he was in, that Racing Wife.
Yeah, I watched that for 5 minutes.
I honestly never watched any of it.
Wasn't Cal Bush's
wife on it? I saw the preview, trailer of it, and I was like, this is horrible.
I think people in trailers are watching it.
You don't know that.
At the campground.
I doubt that. You think those guys in the campground out there in the redneck trailer park in Talladega Boulevard?
Oh, you know that's what they're watching between Xfinity and Cup races.
They're watching Racing Wives.
We're going to watch Racing Wives and Austin Dillon and his wife and that other dude and his wife.
And the Real Housewives while we're at it.
That's my best New Hampshire accent.
I was wondering where that was.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at.
I got a really good, Talladega, Alabama accent, South Georgia accent. That's about it. That's all I got.
It's wicked good, man.
Wicked. And I had a buddy from Boston.
They say that every other word in Boston and New Hampshire, man.
Wicked, y'all.
New Hampshire.
He lived down. I went to college, art school with this guy, and after hanging out with me, he started saying y'all. So he would say,
that's wicked, y'all.
Wicked, y'all.
Oh, God.
It's weird, huh?
And they make fun of us for our southern accents.
All right. We now have 14 winners in the Cup Series. 6 races left to go. In my opinion, we have 4 wildcard races left. The wildcard races being Indy Road Course, Michigan, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. Do we or do we not have more than 16 drivers?
I want to go back to Corey LaJoy. He caught on fire.
Fire?
He was burning up.
Not really.
Well, I just brought that up because I want to say, I'm on fire!
Oh,
Yeah, I just took a painkiller.
you see what I have to deal with?
I'm on fire!
This is in person, at least virtually, wasn't as bad.
Yeah, you had about a 3-second delay, didn't you?
Something like
You
that.
saw the lips move, but like 3 seconds later, you're like,
You were intentionally doing that. It was your lips were swelling up from all the pain medicine. So do we have more than 16 drivers this year?
No, I think we're going to have one more new winner.
Okay.
I'm going to make my prediction. It's going to be Truex or Kevin Harvick. We will have 1 points winner.
Honestly, so out of the 3 drivers currently in the, well, actually, the 3 drivers with
The 12 could do it.
with a point option. The 12, Ryan Blaney, he's plus 105. Martin Truex Jr. is plus 68 over Kevin Harvick at minus 68.
But Harvick wins, he's in.
If honestly, Harvick winning would be awesome, because then that leaves 2 guys who should be in solidly on points having to race their way in.
Makes it a little more intense next season, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. But this is going to be, I like having 14 drivers with a win, because I would love to see 16 winners, honestly.
You know, this is my sense of things. I mean, we had like the Allisons, Darrell Waltrip in the 70s and 80s. Right at the early 80s, we got, Dale Earnhardt Sr. comes in, and he was the new guys. And then we had Gordon, Jimmy Johnson. They were the new guys, and the other guys were old. I think we got a changing of the guard now. I look at the way, and look, if you haven't listened to it, go to the Dale Jr. download, listen to the Justin Marks episode. He's changing things. He's changing the rules on how to run a team.
So is Denny and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You're bringing in not just big money from outside. You're bringing in very popular money. We saw it with
different ways of marketing.
When Roush brought in Fenway, that was where this started, in my opinion.
And Trackhouse, let's not forget Trackhouse.
No, that's Justin Marks.
Yeah, I mean not Trackhouse. Colic.
Yeah, another one.
So
I do think we're at a changing of the guards. I think you're seeing. I mean, your most popular driver shifted from Dale Jr. to Chase Elliott. It'll be that way until Chase retires. There's no changing that.
Mr. Hendrick has proven.
Unless Chase murders a child, he's probably safe with the most popular driver award.
But Hendrick Motorsports has proven doesn't matter how old your CEO is. If you throw money at it, you can fix it.
Well, look, I mean, you got Rick has brought in Jeff. Jeff's the future of Hendrick. Jeff's running Jeff, Chad Knaus. Tell me Rick Hendrick isn't a genius, man.
He is.
He had one of the most successful drivers in the sport, Jeff Gordon.
There's one piece of the puzzle.
And one of the most successful crew chiefs in the sport, Chad Knaus, are full-time employees.
Championships. There's one piece of the puzzle missing, and he's out playing games, driving different cars.
Jimmy?
If you bring Jimmy back into the fold, I think you got something there. But Jimmy's got to get racing out of his system.
I don't know that Jimmy wants to do all that. I think Jimmy's done with it. Like, Jimmy, I think Jimmy's a racer. He's not a management guy. I don't see him as a management guy. You don't think he can
transfer what he's got in his brain for NASCAR to another driver? You don't think he can teach? I think he can teach.
But does he have to? That's the thing. Like, Jimmy's got kids.
Well, he doesn't have to, but
Jimmy's got young kids, so why even do it?
Jimmy's got a jet.
But why? That's the thing, like the why. I think Jimmy enjoys being a husband. I think he enjoys being a dad. And I think you're going to see something. Jimmy's going to run Indy until he has some type of success in Indy. Maybe another year or two. He's not going to do it forever, obviously, but he's going to try to have success.
His skills are going to diminish over time. He's not a youngster.
He'll be like Robbie Gordon, though, except on a larger scale.
He'll win?
Yeah. Well, like with Robbie in the truck series, his little stadium truck series racing.
That is a cool race series. But
Jimmy could do something like that. I mean, Jimmy went and drove in that rally race or whatever on ice, that world champion cross, whatever thingy-majigger.
Ice Xing.
Whatever it was.
SRX on ice.
Yeah. Jimmy did all that. So I still think Dale Jr. is going to do something with
Will he
Hendrick.
bring Jimmy back for his Cup car?
I just
He
see
could.
somehow Junior's Cup thing is going to be tied to Rick Hendrick, I think.
It can't, because Rick Hendrick can't own anything in another car because in another team because of the 4-car limit.
Well, I'm sure it'll be an affiliate team then.
Oh yeah,
Be run
look
out
at the
of-
cars.
It'll kind of be like 2311 run out of the JGR shop, which I know they're not now. But
So Jeff Gordon's going to go, okay, we're going to share 95% of what we do with Junior Motorsports.
well, obviously, I didn't realize that Junior Motorsports was split up 25, 25, 25, 25.
According to the last
weekend.
podcast, yeah.
Tony Urie's 25% owner. I knew Kelly did, but
Rick's
Kelly
going to have
runs
to
it.
sell that 25%.
Not if they're affiliates.
If they go to Cup, yeah, he can't own any part of any other team.
Well, he would be an owner of the Xfinity team, not their Cup team. That's a good question.
That's
though.
true.
But that's still a good question how that would work because he's a team owner. But maybe because he's not a majority? I don't know. That's a really good question. We're going to have to get Bob Pockris on this one.
Well, as
Bob's
we know,
probably the only one that knows.
NASCAR's not very consistent with the rules, so maybe they'll let them slide.
Like I said, if they start throwing rattlesnakes at you when you win Phoenix, then they're consistent.
That'd be badass.
I want to see a rattlesnake at Phoenix. Where else? You got Homestead and Daytona. Both could have shark. I mean, you could do a shark at Daytona and an alligator at Homestead.
You know, you could do a white-tailed deer at Atlanta because you can hunt in the field across the street.
No, this is no lie. My dad, when I was a kid, was in a hunting camp off of turns 3 and 4, like the current turn 3 and 4. There's a hunting camp that used to be where the highway is now, like going down towards Griffin. There was a hunting camp when I was a kid, and that's where my dad.
And I saw wild boar in the woods between the backstretch and the airport.
They could use
Driving back there.
Like every state has a bird, right?
What is our bird in Georgia? Vulture?
The brown thrasher,
Is it really?
I think.
Is that what they taught you in 4th grade social studies?
Remember we had the Thrashers were our hockey team? The Atlanta
Oh,
Thrashers?
yeah, that was our hockey team.
Yeah, so it has to be the state
But then
bird,
they
right?
moved to Canada. Changed their name to like
They changed their name.
Ice Cubes.
No, Ice Tea.
Iced tea, was that it?
Yeah.
They brought iced tea.
Brought iced
So
tea
they
in.
use sugar in one province of Canada because the Thrashers moved there and changed their name, but they brought iced tea with them.
Iced tea.
Sweet tea.
With Ice Cubes in it.
Yeah,
Is that NWA?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
Compton, dude. It's all in Compton. Hey, this is a rabbit hole.
Oh.
Have you noticed there's not sweet tea in Texas, but it's considered the South? Or was I in the wrong part of Texas?
I think it's the Spanish influence coming up from Mexico. They don't drink sweet tea in Mexico. I've been there. They don't have sweet tea.
Well,
in
I've been
Cancun.
there, but I don't remember the sweet tea.
Did you
Shit.
ask for it?
I bought Del Secchi's in Cancun.
Margarita.
You think that's really a Mexican thing?
Yeah, because I think there's more of a Latino influence in Texas, so there's less of the Southern influence. Sweet tea, like Chick-fil-A sweet tea, what we're talking about has like cups of sugar in it.
Yeah, but
Like
you can
3
only
cups
get
of
that.
sugar.
Have you noticed you can only really get
The
that?
Southeast.
Yeah, well, not even the Southeast. North Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, maybe
Alabama,
Chattanooga,
Alabama,
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Mississippi. They love sugar.
You get towards Memphis, you lose it a little bit. Arkansas, you lose it a little bit too. Kentucky still had it. I had no problem getting sweet tea in Kentucky. North Carolina, South Carolina, you said. Washington didn't. Maryland, all that area.
No,
That's hot tea.
you got to get your sugar and
You
dump
got
it in there.
Then they don't have enough sugar on the table to fill it up to make real sweet tea. So
And I'm-
Splenda is not sweet tea.
But you know, if you go up there, you got to cross the Mason-Dixon line between Maryland and Delaware.
But the sweet tea line's lower than the Mason-Dixon
Well,
line.
this is kind of coincides with sweet tea. People don't have teeth till you get to New Jersey.
That's 'cause
Driving
they
up
don't drink.
95.
Yeah, but sweet tea stops in Maryland.
Yeah,
Washington,
you're not-
D.C.
Yeah, because I think when you go across
Virginia,
that bridge.
Virginia has a little bit. It's like half and half. Richmond, yes. Norfolk,
You know,
no.
when You know, when you go to Florida, there's the agricultural inspection station. If you're bringing apples from Georgia, you got to have them inspect it.
Yeah.
There's a sweet tea inspection station when you go over the Delaware River.
They remove the sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's because of the Boston Tea Party, probably.
And it's such a long process. If anyone goes there, don't bring sweet tea with you. They boil it out until they get sugar crystals, and then they make you eat the sugar crystals.
This is one heck of a rabbit hole.
NASCAR!
All right, we're going to Pocono. That is in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Jamie, if we were heading to Pocono this weekend, where would we not want to stay at?
There's some real crappy hotels up there. I mean, just crappy. One thing that I liked about it, though, Pennsylvania is closer to us here in the southern region. They're not as talkative as we are in the southeast, but they're talkative.
They're more talkative than they are
In New Hampshire,
Yeah.
where they just grunt. and
So
groan.
they might get a little sweet tea in Pennsylvania, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's a
Like,
chance.
did you see that little thing where they went to the lobster place where they provide the lobsters?
Yeah, that sweet tea was probably an option.
Even the guy that was like owned the restaurant just grunted.
Ugh. Maybe he's embarrassed.
They said, "We've heard some drivers come to this restaurant."
Maybe he was
So,
nervous about being on TV, so I could get out with,
Look at the lobsters, and he goes, "Wicked good." Do they have lobster when they're here?
You think?
Yes, because my lobster's wicked good.
You think it was voiceover?
Could have been.
Urgh.
Was it Rutledge Wood
Yeah.
playing all the voices?
That would be awesome.
Well, let's go to the Quality Inn.
It's right there in the name. You already know. It's going
But
to be
wasn't
a
that quality
review.
at the Tiki Leaky Inn that we had a good
No,
hotel?
that was budget. No.
No.
Best Western.
Oh. I'm going to get screwed one day and
Yeah, when you
make a reservation in the Quality Inn by Waltham. No, that's a gas station here in Georgia. Never mind. Walt Hill, what's it called?
Oh.
Wyndham. And they have the balls to say Wyndham Resorts.
Yeah.
What kind of
It's
lie
only
is
a
that?
resort for the cockroaches.
Yeah, and the bed bugs and the feces on the
Ugh.
wall. Ugh. All right. Well, Quality Inn. Oh, jeez. Maritza Oliveras. Wow. I'm going to spell it. You guys can figure it out. You can shoot us a tweeter. Well, that's wrong, too. But Maritza. I'm going to say Maritza.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Maritza.
Oliveras.
Oliver.
Oliveras. You know what? If I would have looked at this name to begin
Oliver
with,
Ass.
I would have picked another negative review. She gives it a 1 out of 5.
Wow.
At least she doesn't fall into that. If I could leave it negative stars, it would.
Thank
But
God.
anyway, thanks for that, Martiza.
Maritza.
Maritza.
I think it's Maritza Oliver.
I don't think she
Oliver
drinks.
Ass.
I don't think she drinks sweet tea.
Oliver Ass.
But she says upon arrival, rooms were not ready. After entering the room, the floors were dirty. And she puts in brackets, not vacuum.
Did she bring the
Not
dirt in?
sure what that means. not
After
vacuum.
she entered the room, they got dirty, so she brought the dirt in.
I think she's saying it wasn't vacuum, so we know she didn't bring the dirt in.
Yeah, but she shouldn't have said after entering.
Here's what explains is on the floor. Not enough toilet paper was provided. Ugh. Ugh. So they used the carpet like a weird
dog.
dog scraping his ass on the carpet.
What are you doing, Hank?
Ugh.
Leave me alone. Ain't enough toilet paper.
The lampshade was beat up, bent, and not in good shape. Well, you didn't have to add in good shape there, Maritza. The walls had paint that was scraped off. The bathtubs were dirty looking, not white.
Well, maybe they were tan.
It could have been. Off-white. Like in the 70s.
Or green.
While taking a shower, the temperature of the water changed from hot to cold.
Yeah.
And cold to hot, which is really confusing. Usually that would mean your
That's how it works.
water tank isn't big enough, but who knows?
Probably share them with the room next door.
It was impossible to enjoy a relaxing shower. Of course. But the dirt on the floor should have told you that. The ice bucket was dirty stained.
Looking.
Not something I would feel comfortable to fill with ice. And the Wi-Fi sucks. The pool was green and in no swimming condition. Electrical problems occurred where fire department had to be called. Bartenders had zero experience in making drinks, and the money was poorly handled. What does that mean? They didn't wash their hands after touching it?
They couldn't count?
Huh.
That's probably it. They couldn't
Beers
count.
were hot, and they ran out of ice. Well, that's because they looked at their ice bucket and said, is that blood or feces on that?
We can't go get ice in this. These are nasty.
Many of us couldn't get in our rooms for the keys weren't working properly. Receipts were handwritten and not printed out. That means if you pay in cash,
Yep.
they ain't paying taxes.
Nobody knows.
This was the worst unpleasant stay ever. But I must say, one staff girl's clothing was not appropriate for the job.
What?
Do you think she was showing a pierced navel?
I've been showing something else.
Ew. Like a Michelle Pfeiffer, no underwear?
Maybe. Why would you wear like what? I guess it depends on what position she's working. Is this a bartender? Your house, your maids aren't going to be wearing skirts.
Are they wearing underwear?
Maybe not. Maybe wearing I don't know, inappropriate clothing, obviously.
Or was it a man wearing a kilt without underwear?
See his tater
A
tot?
Scottish man.
See his tater tot?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll never
That
forget
looks like Mike and Ike hand in there. Why is it purple?
Remember that customer? Remember that customer called me that time in my last job, and she's like, "Your trainer came out here to train us, and well, his pants were so tight I could see his tater tots."
Oh yeah, that was a previous employer, guys.
I'd never been so embarrassed in my life.
Oh, he did it with my customer too.
She was like 65, looking at me like, I'm offended here. I'm like, I'm offended.
My customer went further and said he ought to put a sock in there, make it look like there's more.
He should be embarrassed.
I'm not going to say his name, but it's not with our current employer. He's with our previous employer. I'm not sure if he's employed there anymore. I don't know. Lost contact with the guy. But anyway, let's wrap this quality in up. They all looked unhappy to be working there, but still were pleasant in attitude. Well, she had a problem with she said a girl, not a man. She had a problem with the girl.
Yep. That's all right.
The game room was not working and the restaurant wasn't open. Oh, this is a young person. My kids bring their PlayStations with them and their Nintendos.
I used to do that on business.
They ain't going to no arcade.
That's why it wasn't working. It's closed. It's now
I have
a room.
a feeling that this person's stuck in the 80s.
All right, where are we going next? This sounds like a nice place.
Well, it's got a lot of letters in the name. It's the Pocono Resort and Conference Center. Now, I looked at pictures of this.
Sounds fancy.
This was just 2 months ago. This is very recent. And once again, I'm going to have problems with the last name. Ashley Schwingel. Schwingel. I'm going to spell it for all you there. So if you out in the stratosphere want to go and find this review, you can. It is SCHWINGEL. Is that like
Schwingle?
Schwingel?
Schwingle.
Huh.
Schwingel. Like Spanish. EL.
Like in that movie?
Schwingel. I think it's Ashley Schwingel. She's Spanish.
Schwing.
She's a German Spanish. Schwingel. Switzerland.
I think she has hand sanitizer and her name's Schwing. Schwingel.
All right. Pinocchio.
Pinocchio Resort and Conference Center. So anyway, Ashley was there very recently. If it's 2 months ago, she was there in what? May. She was there in May, people. May. And they probably still haven't cleaned her room because wait till you hear the description. The place did not look anything like in their pictures. Thought the pool had just responded. Now she swings with the pool, and the pool didn't talk back. I've never had it. You got a pool in your backyard. Has it responded to you when you're talking to it?
No.
I noticed you're adding water to it. Did you say, "Hey, pool, I'm going to add some water"? And he said, "Oh, geez, Brad, thank you."
We're going to talk. He was good with it.
So this pool up there in the Pocono does not respond.
Oh, reopened is what we would assume it would be.
It did not even look very clean. Well, I assume that.
Yeah. You wouldn't tell us about it.
The room we found had blood splatter and dust ruffle and fecal matter on the wall. I don't know what dust ruffle is.
I don't know if
Is that
if there
like-
was fecal matter and blood splatter, dust would be the last thing I would be concerned
dust
with.
ruffle like a tumbleweed of dust flying through your room?
Yeah,
That's really nasty.
it's like belly button lint, but on a larger scale.
Don't people know you clean it with a Q-tip every time you get out of the shower?
Yeah, but the dust is on a larger scale, so you need a bigger Q-tip. And you would need a maid who was appropriately dressed.
Well, that was the other hotel.
Well, you don't know. She might moonlight at this one.
Well, she then goes to say the whole hotel smelled like something awful, but she doesn't describe it. But she does describe this. I wish she would have compared it to a food, the awful smell. But then she says they tried to cover it up with some Fruit Loop smelling stuff.
Some fruity stuff.
So they just left a bowl of Fruit Loops in there?
Yeah. Well,
Have you noticed Fruit Loops taste way better than they smell?
What's that one store that sells all the spray scented stuff? That Bed Beyond Your Bath?
Something like that. I try to avoid that place, but yeah.
Yeah, so
They got that
just got some
potpourri
spray.
pot. You put your crack lighter under there and burn it like crack pipe.
Yeah, the intense.
The intense incense. All right. Well, we got done with the Fruit Loops. They're about half an hour and went asked for a refund. That's just random.
Okay.
Also, it did not look like they would be offering continental breakfast as advertised online as well.
After the blood matter and the fecal matter, I don't know that I'd want free breakfast from these people.
Well, this is even more disgusting.
That'd
There
be
was
like
a-
the Pop-Tart in the juice box.
This must be where you get your milk for your Fruit Loops. She said there was a pipe leaking in the dark hallway that they had a huge garbage can under. Is that where they get the liquids for the continental breakfast?
As long as that pipe's not from the sewage on the second floor.
Now, I don't get this at all. The gas room had 2 TO games. I think she meant TWO.
Yeah.
That worked and the rest shut off, and some claw machines with barely anything in them. So they're really into arcades up here in the Poconos.
That's the second complaint about the arcade room being broke.
There was also clutter of chairs and other miscellaneous items everywhere and tucked in the corners.
There was junk everywhere, basically.
So I'm guessing the gentleman that checked her out was very attractive, because only thing nice was the gentleman.
Who checked me in and out.
In and out, in and out, in and out. But after checking out, told me I paid too much for the room. So he didn't give her a discount? She didn't do any winky eye at her?
He just told her, you know what, you overpaid, lady.
You overpaid for this dump. Bottom line, I do not recommend staying here.
What an idiot.
Jeez.
Why do they put the game room in the gas room?
Now, do you think that's a natural gas room, or where they keep a big tank for the gas station out front?
Natural gas. It's probably like a mechanical.
Or is that where
Probably the
you
mechanical room.
is that where you fart at?
It's probably the mechanical
farting room?
room.
Like, you know, when I was driving over here, the county between my county and yours, I'm a little dyslexic. I saw a politician running.
Oh, gray black?
No, I thought it said fart finger.
Fart finger? What does it say?
I don't know. I'm going to check going back home.
There's a politician around here. His name's I think it's Gary Black, but every time I see it, because I'm
Is
dyslexic,
he a
all I
white
see
dude?
is gray black. I don't know. Gray black. I don't know. Never met. It's Gary Black though.
I would change my name if my name was Fart Finger.
I would too.
I'll update you guys next week, because
actually it's probably Art.
I'll cross my eyes when I drive past. It's just past Woolsey
I have no idea.
and the
I don't pay attention
Flint
to that.
River. So it's right into Spalding County. That's where Fart Finger is. Maybe they pronounce it like Fall Finger. Anyway, back to Fairbridge Hotel. This is Mike. God dang with these names. What the hell? Michael Natrella. Natrella?
I'm going with Natrella. I'm going with Michael.
Don't they sponsor
No. Yeah. No, that's Nutrella.
New Trek?
Nutrek. Cody Ware.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Nutella.
Oh, Nutella's that weird peanut butter made out of hazelnut.
Well, this is a weird Michael.
Maybe his family owns Natrella. No, he's misspelled it.
Dude, you misspelled your last name.
Yeah, I made an AH on the end once. Trying to be royal. So anyway, this is just 4 months ago too. So this is very recent. Is it Michelle or Michael?
I'm going with Michael.
All right. This hotel is not only terrible, it's a health and safety concern. When we first arrived at the hotel, it was visibly in shambles. And it was a long wait due to the slow staff. We were the only people checking in at the time. Wow. And with 2 employees working at the front desk, it took almost an hour to complete check. That's when
That'd be mad, dude.
That's when you just go, dude. That's when you decide.
I need help. Can I help?
That's where you decide if you prepaid or not. And if you didn't, you walk away.
Yeah.
Once they assigned us our room, they informed us that they were on different floors. I guess there's 2 rooms here then.
Okay.
Regardless of our request that they are not next to each other, we were okay with this, although it was frustrating. When we arrived at our room, we found that one of the rooms already had the door open and it was semi-smoky and had a strong scent of cigarettes. Well,
maybe they left it open so it would air out.
Isn't that duh? I mean, if it smelled smoky, I guess it could be a different
Well, it could be another
something
smoky.
you're burning. It could even just be incense.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But not cigarette incense.
So I'm sorry, Michelle or Michael, for calling you out on that. Cigarettes, thanks.
And he has severe respiratory problems.
Yeah, and he quickly had to notify the hotel because I booked a non-smoking room because of this medical problem. Once the staff was told, they informed us that this is a non-smoking room. Wow. But some guests smoke regardless. And there was nothing they could do. Well, couldn't they charge the people? After an extended time of fighting, whoa! They finally agreed to assign us a new room.
An idiot.
Well, wouldn't you say arguing if you just argued? We're fighting here.
Yeah, he's over.
Yeah, he's punching people.
He's over being overly dramatic.
Yeah, he's like Brad Kozlowski. Just,
Yeah,
I'm going to door
he
that.
overreacted.
Yeah.
Just one little cigarette you had in here, and now I'm going to flip out.
He probably dropped the
I'm good with the whole. I don't like smoking and I have a medical condition. I'm good with that.
I'm okay with that because that's
I
real.
agree with that. That's cool.
But taking it to a fight?
Yeah, there's no reason to fight. Just argue. That's okay.
Do you think an F-bomb was dropped?
2 probably.
2?
Well, that's Pennsylvania. Probably 6
Oh, yeah.
at least.
In
7.
one sentence.
Yeah,
Oh.
a minute.
Wow. The second room we received had a broken lock on the bathroom door.
So that's just.
Well, did they not know who they were staying with? The front door, like at the Boohoo
Yeah,
Beach Inn, that would concern me.
that opened out.
Out, yeah.
The lock was on the outside.
Let's just tie a rope to the doorknob and rip it off with our car.
You could lock us in those rooms.
But wait, there's more. The sheets were stained with marker.
How does he know?
Oh, I hate finding a deuce dropping in there.
Yeah, that's bad.
The toilet had feces and toilet paper still in it from the previous customer. I think it was the maid. Well, probably wasn't clean. So, we were forced to stay in these 2 rooms because there was nowhere else to go. And we were too far from our homes to drive back. Later that night, I woke up to a cockroach on the wall. At least it wasn't on your chin looking
Yeah,
at
but
you.
I'm calling BS on that. How loud does that cockroach have to be to wake him up? It's not like it's bam, 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 bam.
But what if it was a Georgia cockroach?
It ain't gonna wake you up
They're
running
the
across.
size of your palm,
It could
dude.
be a Florida cockroach, and they're twice as big. You can put those
I
things on a
once
leash.
went out in my shed, and out of the tree came a cockroach the size of my head,
There's a squirrel.
and it was speaking English.
There's a hillbilly jumping out of a hole.
It was playing Pink Floyd. I don't like Pink Floyd.
That's when that airplane landed on the beach.
One day I'll talk about that airplane landing on Daytona Beach. That was in the 80s, different time back then.
Sullivan's.
Once in 10 years when I'm retired, I'll talk about the airplane landing on the beach.
You see who this one's by.
Yeah, we used to work with Cortez, didn't we?
Hoorah!
Hoorah! And this has a funny name, Sullivan's Trail Inn and Suites.
It's on the trail. I mean, that worries me right there.
Don't you have to worry when they say suites?
Yeah, anytime they call themselves a resort or a suite, the only ones who can do that is Hilton with Embassy.
Go to the Mayflower Hotel. It doesn't say Mayflower Hotel and Suites.
Well, that's because it doesn't have a suite.
It has a suite.
Just not a big
I once had a poor man's room.
And it was nice.
It was already booked, so they put me in the penthouse.
Nice.
Dude, that was nice. Now I know how millionaires live. It was hard to go home.
How many nights were you there?
Quite a few, but let me just say room service was not free. So it cost me about as much as the regular dingy room. Anyway.
Our Cortez.
1 out of 5. The Sullivan's Trail Inn and Suites.
Friggin'
He
idiot.
falls right
What an
into
idiot.
the trap.
Like, sentence 1. I only gave this place 1 star because I couldn't rate it a 0.
Why do people
What an
say
idiot.
that? If we're reading reviews, we know that.
0's not an option ever. It's never been nobody says rate it on a scale of 0 to 5. It's 1 to 5.
You know, Google, when you
Come
do a review, it should say, do not put in your review, I would give 0 out of 1 if I could, but I had to give it 1 to do it. Because we know a 1 rating is pretty bad.
No,
Actually,
idiot.
3.5 and below probably shouldn't stay there.
Friggin' idiot, man.
And if it's below 4, I would read a lot of the reviews and make sure that they weren't pumping it up with some 5 out of 5s.
And somebody's cheating.
Yeah. You don't want half 5 out of 5s and half 1 out of 5. It's just not good for you. But anyway, after they fell into the trap, I came from Florida with my family of 6. Why would you vacation in Poconos if you live in Florida? Isn't all you can do in Florida is vacation?
That's what I thought.
Or work in the service industry.
Maybe when you live in Florida, it's like, all right, I'm tired of dealing with this. We're going to go to
I've seen
Pocono.
a lot of people from Florida at Myrtle Beach. Which
Well, maybe they got to get away from the heat. Or get away from the Floridians.
It's more muggy.
Maybe everybody else visits Florida, so the Floridians have to get away from everybody else, so they just go visit the other people's hometowns.
That makes sense. I'm going to go with that. Bought a bunch of stuff for the oven, and the oven didn't work.
Shouldn't you have checked that first?
Yeah. Didn't they spell none wrong? Isn't that noon?
I said Noonie.
Noonie. Noonie had the courtesy to let us know before they charged almost $600 for the cottage that was booked over 3 months ago. They wanted to take $20 off our stay, only for a cottage with a non-working oven for 4 days.
Yeah, man.
It has a nice jacuzzi, which unfortunately didn't work either. The bed quilts were so dirty, I had to go buy blankets to sleep comfortably. The chairs are dangerous, some broken. The glass plates and cups were chipped, and the pots had food in them from whoever was there before us. That is disgusting.
Maybe they were leaving them a snack.
That would take my OCD to a whole new level.
I know. You would be.
I'd go shower at a truck stop.
Finding another hotel.
Go pay my $10 a shower at Love's truck stop. Ugh. There were cigarette buds. Are they buds or butts? I've always called them butts.
Butts.
Cigarette B-U-T-T-S.
Yeah. Buds.
That must be what they call them in Florida.
Cigarette buds?
Florida has a lot of beach like California. Hey, bud. What's up, bud?
Maybe.
Hey, brah. No, they're all like over 90 in Florida. Anyway, let's get rid of the buds. Beer bottles in the snow.
Oh, yeah, he's up north now.
Only 1 roll of toilet paper for 4 days.
That's a problem.
They don't travel much. I keep a roll of toilet paper in my backpack.
At all times.
Yeah, you never know. Never know. There were hair all over the rugs.
Just one hair?
Just one.
Just one rug.
As they hadn't vacuumed in months.
There'd be more than one hair then.
This was by far the most expensive non-working trip ever. Do not set yourself up for this place. It was inconvenient from the start. By the way, they do BTW. So let's quote them exactly as they wrote it. BTW. You can't use the sink at the same time as showering or you'll have to bathe in cold water. That's most hotels, though.
I don't know, man. This sounds a little extreme. I'd have a lot of problems with this, especially with all those
whose
cigarette
side are you on,
butts.
Mr. Cortez or the hotel?
Noonie. Look,
Of course, overall, it was a 2.3 hotel.
Noonie is probably the lady at the front counter is going to be my assumption.
Isn't Noonie a snack made by Little Debbie?
No, she said in the beginning, it says Noonie had the courtesy to let us know before they charged us almost $600 for the cottage.
He could have put an R on there and called it a nooner.
Noonie is probably the lady's name. She said, hey, we're going to overcharge you.
They did it in all caps, too.
Maybe he was like, Noonie!
Huh.
Screaming her name. I don't know.
Oh, hold it. I figured it out. I've solved the problem with math. No one. They forgot to space.
No one. You're right.
No one had the courtesy to let us know.
I was thinking none, but none had the courtesy. That makes no sense. Noonie.
I was going disgusting thinking nooner. He had
no
a nooner.
No one. You're right. No one had the courtesy.
I couldn't do a nooner with food in the pots from the last visitor.
Well, Richard Cortez is an idiot. Or R. Cortez.
Well,
I'm going with Richard.
our Cortez now works for Carrier.
Our old Cortez?
Our old Cortez.
All right, well, we are going to Pocono.
Well, we're not physically going.
Well, no, we're not. But Pocono is a 2.5 tri-oval. Has 3 completely different turns. Only 3, not 4. Turn 1 is a 14 degrees. Turn 2 has 8 degrees of banking. Turn 3 has 6 degrees of banking. It is an asphalt surface.
The tunnel turn has a little bump.
It's owned by Mateo.
Who's Mateo?
Is that how you say Mateo?
Is he from Texas?
Probably.
You know, today is Monday. You know what Monday is at home?
What day?
Quesadilla day.
Is it?
Yeah.
And it makes you think of Texas?
Yeah.
Do you need get some jalapenos out of the garden before
Ours
you
are
leave?
popping out now.
Oh, okay.
And guess what?
They hot?
Natural ones are hotter than the ones you buy at the store.
Those out of my garden, they made me cry. They hurt.
We have so many now. My wife made the best that I've ever had jalapeno peppers.
I have some
Poppers.
peppers.
Yeah, with cream cheese and cheese on it.
We do that too. That's the only way we could eat them. They were so hot.
Oh my God, they're good.
Anyway, this track has a seating capacity of 76,812. First opened in 1971. The race will be, as usual, at 3 p.m. Eastern. You can catch it on USA Network or on MRN.
I do both. Well, actually, the coverage so much better on NBC. I don't do MRN or PRN.
Did you see that video? So
yeah, they're getting a little wacky there, Bowman Gray.
Yeah, so over the weekend at Bowman Gray, the number 15 car just goes stupid. I saw Freddie Kraft tweeted this. I'm assuming
he makes Brad losing it look amateur.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's his what an idiot for the week.
Yeah.
I don't know what this guy's name is. Freddie had tweeted out, could someone please let him know this guy's name? And I never actually found it, but I was showing Jamie the video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's really stupid. Like, this guy shouldn't even be allowed to race.
It's like crash derbies.
It almost looks staged, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I just don't see somebody doing that. But anyway, fantasy picks for Pocono. You have Denny Hamlin with 6 wins at Pocono and 14 top 5s. Kyle Busch has 4 wins and 11 top 5s.
Jeez, you'd be a fool not to pick Denny.
Yeah. Kurt Busch has 3 wins, 14 top 5s. Truex Jr. has 2 wins, 6 top 5s. Blaney has 1 win and 2 top 5s. Harvick has 1 win and 15 top 5s. Chase Elliott's raced 12 races here, 0 wins, 7 top 10s. Kyle Larson's run 14 races here, and he's finished top 10 in 8 of them. Trackhouse has a combined total of 16 starts between Ross and Daniel. So, for my picks, I didn't go with Denny, actually. Every time Denny's a shoe-in, he always, I don't want to say chokes, but
screw it up a little.
Something goes wrong. So I went Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, Truex Jr., and Chase Briscoe.
Those are good picks.
I think the best.
I'm going to make a last.
I think Chase Briscoe is going to be the driver who saves Ford right now. So
I'm going to make a last-minute change like you did last week. Or was it the week before?
Yeah. Happy Jamie week.
Do you know, next week marks our quarter-century mark for episodes.
25.
25.
Who you taking for 24?
I'm going Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick. I don't know why I call him Bick. Harvick. Martin Truex. And I'm not going to pick Denny either. I'm going with Kyle Busch.
Good pick.
Dude drove through the field. Well, not completely, or he would have won, but...
Pocono's a different track because the corners are so different.
And it's such a... What is it, 2 miles?
Yeah. It's
It ain't
2.5.
a small one.
It's 2.5 mile tri-oval, so it's as big as Talladega, but it's each turn's so different. You have to have an ability. Like, look, Denny Hamlin's 6 wins. Denny's a very versatile driver. He can win on a lot of different tracks.
That
Kyle
front
Busch,
stretch
4 wins.
is
Same
as
thing.
wide as the straightaway at Bristol.
Drafting, I think, is going to be a big factor here.
I think so.
So I think really, it could be somebody who we didn't even just name. But the banking's fairly flat.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb.
So I think Toyota will be strong again.
I'm going to say this will be our last race where someone who hasn't won yet wins.
Really?
Yep.
You think Pocono will be the first-time winner? Who's the first-time winner at Pocono? Truex?
No, he's won twice there.
No, I mean...
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
I think Truex is way stronger than Harvick. So, let's make Truex my number 1.
I would love to see Harvick win, though. Harvick winning sets up for a better showdown between Truex and...
Well, know what I see that would be awesome? Harvick gets bounced from one of the cutoffs, and then he gets revenge for the rest of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Because Harvick's a hothead, too. People forget that with the young hotheads.
Well, that's all I got this week. Jamie, you got anything else?
No, except for next week is our 25th episode.
25.
For those doubters out there,
25.
screw you!
Yeah, exactly what he said. So, for everybody who does listen, though, thank you.
Yes, we love you.
We appreciate everyone who follows us, shares our show on social media, and listens each week. We greatly appreciate it.
Our listeners are the best.
All right, all of them.
We're talking top dogs here.
Make sure you check us out on Spotify and rate us on there. Follow us on Twitter. We're at Car Backwards. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcast and leave us a review. And check out our website. It's racecarbackwards.com. And thanks again for listening, everybody. Have a great week.
That was a lot of words, dude.
I know. Befuddled.
How do you say it without screwing up?
I read it.
I can't read that
every
long.
week.
I'm so OCD halfway through the sentence.
Every week for 24 weeks, I've read the same thing. So.
I'm sitting here looking at this and then looking at the Guns N' Roses. But you know what? I just realized it's Poison.
It's not even Guns N' Roses.
Jeez,
Bret
Louise.
Michaels. That's from a Poison concert. Like 2001, I think, 2002.
I don't remember them selling those bandanas.
I used to buy them. I've got a whole box of them upstairs. I actually have a Leonard Skinner one, believe it or not.
Hey, look, your Black Sabbath Ozzy Fest 99.
It's a Dale Earnhardt pin on it. See that?
Yeah, but Push Monkey, they're the ones causing monkeypox, aren't they?
They are. Look, Slipknot was on the second stage back then.
I used to love Primus. They were so weird.
Godsmack. That was a good show. It was a really good show. And I think the year after, I saw Pantera on Ozfest.
Pooh-yah. Haven't heard that in a long time.
Head P. Slipknot. All right, we're out of here, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, are we still recording?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Say bye.
Bye, everybody.
Y'all have a good week. Thanks for listening to a race car spelled backwards.